Now, to move the conversation further, we have been joined by businessman and politician Valentine Ozigbo, who is a special advisor to Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Feels so good to have you here as we try to unpack so many things, especially from what has happened. Mr. Ozigbo, good morning.
Morning, Steve. Morning, Oji.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure.
All right. Let's take it from, I was going to, dive straight into it, but let's take it from what happened yesterday.
Okay.
There are two key elements to touch on. One is the area of the violence and the attempt to prevent people from attending. And then, of course, eventually, the attendance itself, because people are now saying that, when we compare what happened yesterday to what we usually get, what people usually get with the experience, they say that there is a huge difference. What would be your candid assessment of yesterday's show, and are you satisfied that you succeeded in having the mother of all rallies as you promised?
Mixed feelings. On one hand, I am overwhelmed by the acceptability of Peter Obi and Dati Baba Ahmed in Lagos State. You could see picked up from the walk around Alaba International Market, going to Orile, and then before heading to TBS. And you can see millions of Nigerians come out in droves. And it's also the pure joy you see in their faces and the resoluteness and their readiness to come out on the February 25th election. So that's, on that side, I am excited. We're all very impressed. Nothing to say. But on the other hand, worried because the level of intolerance that we're experiencing is very unfortunate. I went to see some of the wounded myself. I had to make some calls, calling agencies of the security, calling the ambulance to take them out. Eventually, thank God, nobody died that we know of, but the wounded broke my heart. And the same thing for Peter Obi.
There were 4 of them or more?
More than that. 4 at a time when the cameras were there. But we started getting more attacks in different parts of Lagos, especially closer to the central area. So for us, one thing also this has done, it has also reawoken that spirit of NSAS. So the youths are actually more resolute today. So when they try this, to attempt to suppress people from coming out, they get the opposite. So they should stop trying. I'm going to appeal to Lagosians, please, allow peace to reign. We don't need this. We're already too harassed. We have all the issues we're going through. Don't add to it. It's just a plea I want to make. Thank you.
All right. Now, the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council has called on the international community to hold the APC and the Lagos State governor responsible for the attacks. I mean, I don't know how much investigation the Labour Party has carried out, but the Lagos State chapter has described your accusation as, very irresponsible as well as reckless.
You see, there are trends to all this. Just also yesterday, there's been a viral video where you see a gathering of people being talked to. You must vote for APC or live here. There's a lot. As a matter of fact, there should be more calls and more shouting. I am begging APC. A lot of what is happening, I can tell you, if you dig further. And I want journalists to do investigative journalism. Figure out yourselves what is going on. And there's also this silly talk about Lagos Rec, the comments made about, all of these things should be stopped. We're looking for what can help douse the tensions, not to escalate the tensions. And I am pleading, what we also try to do is to counsel our team. Please, be obedient. Don't, respond. We want, everybody to act responsibly. And that way, we don't escalate things. Just like the case of the woman in the Bible, the Solomon, how, people, two ladies dragging a baby, one wanted killed, and the other one said, no, when the child grows up, we will know eventually who the mother is. We plead for a peaceful Lagos, because we know we will certainly win Lagos State in presidential election at a minimum. And therefore, tension and violence is actually for the threatened, for the opponents who feel that under normal circumstances we've lost. So the only thing we can do is to use, but that's wickedness. If you sit in a room to fathom how to unleash violence in an election period, that's wickedness. And honestly, I pray to God to forgive them, if not punish those who are perpetrators.
You're projecting to win Lagos State for Labour during the presidential election, a state where Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC candidate, comes from. How daring could that be? Actually,
let me help you. We're not just winning Lagos State, we're winning Southwest. We're winning, there's been a trend of polls that have come out, but let me speak on the next year poll, which has projected that we're not only going to win Lagos, we're going to win Oyo, we're going to win Ogun State, we're going to win Ekiti State. And we're coming very close seconds in Ondo and Osun State. I'm sure in the next couple of days we'll also overtake in those two states. You know, when these polls come out, people will dismiss it, oh, forget it, this and that. But this morning, just driving from my house to here, I was watching a video. Some videographer went around Ogun State, just who will you vote for, who will you vote for? And shockingly, while P2P was about 50-something, Ashore was about 20. So you know what I'm going to also challenge? Arise, come together with channels and TVC, take your camera, go to the streets and get your own post online so that people can believe these numbers. They're not fake. If you know anybody close to Asiwaju and Atiku, just tell them to stop running. This election is already won.
Well, many will argue with you and say, you know, those type of polls cannot guarantee that, you know, that will be the outcome, because obviously there are a lot of factors here, like you saw yesterday at the rally, either voter intimidation, and there'll be voter apathy or what have you. What do you say to that? And I also believe that Friday there was another report that came out, Premise Data Corp for Bloomberg, correct? It came out on Friday, predicting that Peter Obi will win 66% of the 93% of respondents' votes. What do you make of that?
So there are two kinds of polls. What I love about these polls, that number one, they are totally independent. None is close to, none of the posters that we engage. So what that means is, and guess what, we also have the privilege of seeing some of the polls coming from APC and PDP camps and use that to balance. When you see an online poll, not a face-to-face poll, P2B usually will trump. In fact, you need to add Atiku and Asiwaju's numbers multiplied by 2 or 3 before it gets to P2B's. That's for online. So let's say, okay, online aside, let's go to the face-to-face poll, especially in the rural communities. Don't forget, that was what Next Year did in their first poll. They abandoned, obviously there's no state controlled by Labour at the moment. They went to each of the geopolitical zones, picked one state from APC, one state from PDP, and avoided all the states where the candidates come from. And even in that poll, face-to-face with rural communities, they avoided school community, urban areas. In that face-to-face poll, P2B still came first. So because the Bloomberg premise data was purely online, that's why you see the huge margin.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you do a face-to-face, you'll see the margin tighten, but still sufficient margin for a landslide victory. Both meeting the two terms of simple majority and spread across Nigeria.
Okay, we'll return to this in a bit, but we'll just quickly take a clip from the Labour Party's rally of yesterday. We'll come back to Mr. Ozigbo. Stay with us.
The Labour Party presidential campaign train arrives in Lagos. A special event, a tease for majority of the attendees who are mostly young Nigerians getting involved in the electoral process for the first time. But attending the rally is not a palatable experience for some of them who come into the arena with various degrees of injuries after an alleged attack from some hoodlums on their way to the Tafawa Balewa Square venue of the rally.
So we moved on a flatbed truck and a DJ with convoy of cars. As soon as we got to Jakonde, 2 buses came, stopped by our side, and men came out with cutlasses and guns. And I was the last on the line. A lot of people ran away. They kicked me and they started hitting me with the machete.
Even they are shooting. But we are trying to guide our instruments on the truck that we are using to do the campaign. But they are using that cutlass to pursue us, do everything. Everybody were like running for his life. So I just have to calm down so that they will not wound me with their cutlass. As I calm down, before coming back, they pick all my instruments, vandalize my instrument, carry my player and my light up.
We were attacked on our way coming to this rally at the Adeniji Bridge. Yes, there were many. So when our bus was passing, they were threatening us that they would kill us all. When we slowed down because of traffic, one of them danced towards us from front. So we think maybe he's jubilating with us. The next thing I saw was jackknife. So when he attacked, I shift, then he stabbed me on my laps.
Many of our supporters coming for the rally and their vehicles were attacked in different places in Lagos. And of course, people do this when they feel they can get away with it. They act with impunity. But we hope, we are confident that the security agencies, security people will do the necessary thing, will grapple with the situation effectively and restore law and order.
But beyond that unfortunate experience, music plus plenty other fun activities make the rally a worthwhile event for the Labour Party and majority of its supporters as they listen to leaders and candidates address them on why the party should win political power in the elections that begin in just 2 weeks.
It is time for us to change the status quo in this place. Lagos does not belong to one man. Our Laniko, our Lokon, Eko Etide, it is time for us to have roads that walk. It is time for us to have a Lagos without traffic. It is time for us to have a safe Lagos. A Lagos where our people are not being attacked all over the place. It is time for a Lagos that will work for you. It will work for me. It will work for all of us.
The time has come for us to say enough is enough. Our people say opportunity comes but once. This opportunity that the 2023 general election behoves on us, we must not allow it to elude us.
Pikin cannot get a good education. Is that right? So I give you Peter, Gregory, Obi, and Yusuf Dati Ahmed, who have promised me that they will give everything they've got to make sure that Nigeria will rise up again.
It is the turn of Mr. Peter Obi to speak. His message is directly to the younger generation of Nigerians on why they need to seize the opportunity of the 2023 elections to start the process of correcting all the things that are wrong with the country by putting the Labour Party in control of affairs.
All your country has done in the past 20 years is to produce insecurity, to produce poverty, to produce joblessness, to produce also strife, fuel scarcity, or one form of suffering or the other. Daddy and I are promising you that we will secure and unite Nigeria. We will secure and unite Nigeria. We will ensure that when we start, after some years, no Nigerian will say, I'm from the West, East, North, but we'll be proud to say he's a Nigerian.
Recent polls on the upcoming election suggest that the Labour Party presidential candidate is a front runner. That alone is exciting to Mr. Peter Obi's supporters, though they are well aware that the road to their destination is one still filled with many curves.
100%, I'm sure he's going to win. I have never voted before, but because of Mr. Peter Obi, he's going to win. I'm sure he's going to win. No doubt about that.
So this is the first time that actually Nigerians are coming together to embrace a candidate that they believe has the capacity, the character, the competence, and the compassion, because that's the most important thing, communication. This guy communicates very well.
Peter Obi is an idea whose time has come. No more playing. They are old, but we are taking back our country.
The crowd thins out, but according to Emeka, one of the respondents here, Mr. Peter Obi is an idea whose time has come. For majority of them, they have never done this, that is, attending a political rally like this before, but they're doing it for a candidate in whom they believe so much, and they believe that come February 25th, 2023, Mr. Obi, whom they have just listened to here, will emerge the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Tokumbo Oyetunji, Arise News, Lagos.
All right, that was a good one from Tokumbo Oyetunji there. Mr. Ozigbo, you're still here. You were making a point about between polling and reality. But my question quickly to you will be, are there lessons that you think the candidate of your party, Mr. Peter Obi, should learn from your own experience, from your own political trajectory of 2021 when you ran to be governor of Anambra State? Young, of course, the question of age was in your favor, corporate background, charismatic, but you didn't win the election. Somebody else won. There's so much hope and attention on Mr. Peter Obi. Are you in your little kitchen cabinet room telling him that, yeah, we believe that you win, but then if it doesn't happen, sometimes politics work that way. Are you giving him some lessons using your own trajectory as to, what happened? Because you can't just force people to say reject older people, reject establishment, reject this. What if they don't?
Thank you. Incidentally, I wish we have enough time so I can tell you what happened in 2021 and how it's totally different from what is happening now. As a matter of fact, we know one or two factors that made the Anambra election go the way it did. Okay. And Anambra people also tell you they have realized their mistakes, but that's out of the way. More importantly is for Peter Obi. Peter Obi is actually such a conservative human being. You see, when we even discuss these polls, why do you think he works harder and harder than everybody else? Because it's not complacent. It's not saying, oh, I've won. No. He's still the hardest working in the presidential candidate. He's everywhere. He can be in 5 states in one day. Because, thank God, he has the physical and mental energy to do so. But there's something I always want to emphasize on, especially when I'm with him, which is about the undecided.
Yeah.
Why are they still undecided at a time like this? But thankfully, it is thinning out. When we did different polls in September, October, November, December, kept moving down from 37% to 20%. In more recent polls, actually some 10%. So that's fantastic. And what I also see is that these undecided voters, they already know the other two major candidates. So if they have remained undecided, that means they have rejected those ones. But in the case of Peter, maybe they don't know enough yet. So they remain undecided. So the work of those who know is to educate those who don't know. And that is going on. That's what campaign is about, and that's what media is also helping. And I'm so fascinated that, everything Peter has done is organic. And he spends little or nothing, especially when it comes to media, and still achieve this level of momentum because he's leading a movement. So I am not in any doubt that come February 25th, he's actually likely to win in the entire zones of Nigeria, including the Northwest and the Northeast. When we started this, when I talked about the Southwest zone, I spoke about the 4 states is leading already. But in the Northeast, for instance, states like Adamawa, where Atiku is from, he's leading. Yes, he's leading. A state like Gombe, a state like Taraba, and even Borno, these are states that he is certain to get 25% spread. And if you come to Northwest, shockingly, his performance in Katsina is shocking to even me sitting here. When I followed to go to campaign in Katsina, and the gentleman who is leading our Up North ambassadors spoke to me that we're going to win Katsina. I said, how? How is that possible? But when I saw poll confirming the same, so wow. So, you know, this thing we talk about tribal or religious thing, is becoming a myth in the case of P2B. What I'm seeing is people not actually knowing enough before. Because the more they know, and the more they reject the status quo, the more they hunger for a new change. Especially when they now check and see, oh wow, so all these things they say about P2B, they're actually verifiable, they're actually true. So the trend is fantastic, it's going up, and I won't be surprised because Kaduna as well is looking extremely good. Kano is also looking good. So if you can get all the KKK states, what are you talking about? Northwest is down. I am certain that P2B will win at first instance. For those who are actually predicting a runoff, it's a fallacy.
You're certain that he will win first instance.
First instance.
Not so long ago, you contested the gubernatorial election in Anambra State under the platform of the People's Democratic Party.
Yes.
And now you switched to the Labour Party. Now, what convinced you to switch? And at what point did you realize that Peter Obi would win, or, like you say?
Fantastic question. For me, I'll tell you this. You know, there are 2 kinds of human beings in politics, 2 kinds. There are those who support people because they feel they are better. And that's people of conscience who are on principle. And that's why I salute the likes of, you know, Pa Adebanjo of Afenifere, Dr. Pogo of Middleburg Forum, the Ohaneze, the Pandev, Chief Edwin Clark. These people and President Obasanjo took principled stand. This is the right thing to do for the unity of this country. So there are people who believe that this is the best fit. There are some who will know that this is the best fit and they abandon looking for who they think will win. And that's what politicians do. They want access to power. I don't want to. So for some of us, we went into P2B's project believing it's the best for Nigeria. In fact, the way we saw it, whether he wins or not is irrelevant to us. That's why Pastor Sarah would say, let's go and waste our vote. We were ready to waste our vote on P2B because it's the best. And if you're a man of conscience, that's what you will do. But if you're a tribal bigot, you will do the other way around. No apologies. I'm telling you, but how can you see a P2B and you compare with the other 2? How? On what basis? Mental energy, character, competence, track record? What are you talking about? However, so we follow P2B because he is the best. And thank God, over time, he actually not only ticked the box of who is the best, he's actually the one who is to win. So if you're on this fence thinking, what should I do? Follow who know road. We know the road. We have experienced P2B. We can tell you for free that he is going to do good in this country. And therefore, if you're also someone interested in access to power, come on board.
All right.
It can be tribal bigotry if you put in the mix what the current governor of Anambra State, Professor Soludo, is saying about your candidate. That, hey, he won't get. But
you would know why Soludo would say a thing like that. Soludo thought he should be the P2B. I'm sorry, Soludo, he can't be P2B. He can't even govern Anambra well. Fix Anambra for us. Focus on that. What business has he got talking about P2B? What business? P2B didn't even ask you for support. Allow a level playing field. What? I don't want to talk about Soludo. I've been silent about him. The truth is this. People who are of older generation have reprimanded him enough. That should be enough for him. People like us, let him be. Because we don't want to be accused of being part of his reason for his failure. We should focus on fixing Anambra State. That's all I can say to you.
All right, before we let you go, is there any truth to what's been circulating on social media You said Peter Obi hasn't invested much in the media, but then there is this thing about 2 billion meant for the churches. There is a Dominion Christian Center who wrote a petition to CAN, alleging that the money was mismanaged. Did any 2 billion naira emanate from?
I've not even seen that. How much more been through? I mean, how 2 billion and we haven't paid our rise to cover our events? Come on, let's talk about something else.
So yes,
no shishi.
You know, they give shishi. So yesterday was the finale of your campaign. Really quickly, how do you think you guys have fared so far?
Yesterday is the mother of all rallies, but we're not done. Rallies continue. I can tell you, Peter B will still junket and truncate every part of Nigeria in the next coming days until rallies are meant to stop. But yesterday marked the conclusion of our visit in all the 37 locations, 36 states and Abuja. So we'll reserve the best for the last, and we're excited. We are going into this election with huge momentum, and we're thankful to the Nigerian youths. The reality is that youths, you are the true hero of democracy, not the other people that I mentioned.
Right. But a lot of people would think that you will end your mega rallies in Oka, where, you know, the capital of the state, where your candidate is from.
We will end our rally. We will all head back to Anambra eventually. We're going to be in Anambra. So Anambra people have enough of us.
But they have been to Anambra.
Mother or father.
Well, I mean, we're looking at father of all rallies.
Okay.
By the way, in the next few days, you'll get a report about what's going to happen. Anambra is going to give Peter Obi 97%. I'll reserve the other 3%.
All right.
For the undecided. 3%.
Well, all right. Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.
Thank you so much.